Hello and welcome to episode 52 of the Uncapped podcast, brought to you by Roasthouse Pub, one of Frederick's finest craft beer and culinary destinations, where great people come to drink amazing beer. Visit them to track their taps and menu on roasthousepub.com. Also, the Uncapped podcast is joining with the Bicycle Escape to host this year's Cranksgiving, a bike ride scavenger hunt that benefits the Community Action Agency, where we collect food and donate over a literal ton of food every year. So if you're free this weekend, stop by the Bicycle Escape and join in on the fun. Look them up on Facebook and you can get all the details. I'm your host, Chris Sands, and joining me this week from Hysteria Brewing Company is Tyler Kreis. Kreis. Yeah. I forgot to ask you how to pronounce.
You know, everybody always gets it wrong, so it's funny because some people say Chris, and I'm like, there's an E in there.
It's a silent E.
It's a silent E, yeah. So it's all
And
good.
do you prefer Ty or Tyler?
It really doesn't matter. The whole Ty thing came from Twitter, and then since I got hired to do beer off of Twitter, it's been Ty
Everyone
ever since.
just called you. Your name became Ty.
Yeah, like my friends and family, it's a nickname that I've had, but like now everybody like knows me as that, so it's whatever. Doesn't bother me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for driving out to Frederick all the way
buddy.
from Columbia.
Yeah, it's such a pretty area. So I'm totally down to always come out this way. It's just gorgeous, and especially now. It's just
And
great.
quickly becoming the beer capital of the East Coast.
Yeah, there's so many good places out here and breweries. It's fun. It's cool. As soon as I leave here, I'm gonna try to hit a couple places and see some people and have good beer. So
Definitely should. John Burroughs, I waited till way too last minute to ask him if he wanted to co-host this episode, but he definitely wants to see you.
Yeah, I'll stop by for sure. Why not? That'd be fun.
So let's talk about Hysteria a little bit.
Yeah.
So you brew, and you are the director of sales there.
Yep.
Let's talk about how did Hysteria come about?
It came about. There's three guys that are really good friends. They owned a couple of businesses, did really well. They own a vape juice company, basically, and started in their garage because they just didn't like the stuff that was on the market. Realized they can make it better, and a couple years, it was a multi-million-dollar company, shipping worldwide, and they were like, "What's our next venture?" So
now they don't just do the juice though; they make like their own e-cig too, right?
Yeah. It's different things that they put together in. Like in-house, their own custom things, but like the thing that they're known for, they ship worldwide, is the juice. Yeah, they ship everywhere. So the whole company is like a wholesale company, and they have a retail spot you can go buy all their stuff and also like different mods and stuff like that. And for me, I don't know anything about vape at all.
Neither
my
do
brother
I.
does, and I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, I don't smoke anything.
Yeah,
all,
I know nothing. I just read an article and it said that he tinkered and built stuff and then turned it into a big.
That's exactly what happened. He was just a tinker, and then he has two really good friends that they've done a lot of stuff together and decided to do this. They tried to start other businesses, and that one just took off. And then they got to the point where they were like, hey, we like beer. We're home brewers. And then they decided to just take the jump and start a big brewery. Well, but they didn't really know what they were doing, so that's when they called us. Like, it's me. It's Jordan McGraw, who's our head brewer, and then Zach, who's in charge of marketing. And they just called us and said, well, but it's different times. But basically, it was a warehouse when we all started with a couple tanks just against the wall. And they were basically like, build this brand. Here's the kind of beer we want. Here's what we want to do. Brew it, figure it out, and get people in and make sure it's sold. So we're like, okay. So it's basically we got to open our own brewery without any kind of financial obligation. So it's kind of like, why not take?
Bonus.
Yeah. So why not take the risk? So I mean, it's been the most stressful time of my life because I have a newborn as well. But other than that, I mean, it's the best job in the world. So.
And you have quite a history in the beer industry.
Yeah. I mean, it's not too bad. Yeah. I started off just as a home brewer, and I was on Twitter, like I was saying, like I was a really big fan of DuClaw because they were the ones that got me into craft beer when I first turned 21. And the thing is, I think most people 20 years ago around here, there really was no breweries. Like there was a Citizens you could get, and then there was really only a DuClaw that actually had a place you can go drink. And I was working at Bass Pro in Arundel Mills, and I turned 21. Some friends were like, let's go get beer. And I was like, well, I don't want to get like just ordinary beer. Like now that I'm legally able to drink, is there any
something good?
Yeah, I want something good. I want something different. So I went to Duclaw, and they had 6 beers on tap, and that was it. I think now there's like 24 at that same location. 6 beers on tap, and I just got a flight of everything. I forget how much came in a flight, whatever it was, but I got 6 of them, and I drank Bad Moon Porter. And then I was like, I had no idea beer could taste like this. I just didn't know. And then from that point on, I just started trying everything. And then Sierra Nevada just got me. And then I started drinking Sam Adams. You know, Sam Adams, everybody's first. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And other beers like the Doppelbox, I was like, this is so extreme. It's so crazy. And then, then I started homebrewing. And then I was on Twitter. And then Duclaw, Dave, the owner, reached out and said, hey, send me your resume. I'm trying to find a sales guy, and you're really passionate about the brand. You're passionate about craft beer and small businesses, you know, especially. So I was like, cool. Went in, didn't even know I even had an interview. I was just coming in to hang out, and I was like, this is an interview? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, crap. And then, they hired me.
I would have put pants on.
Yeah, I was like, I would have actually did something. But, yeah, so I was there for a while, learned a ton about the industry, a ton about the brewing. It was brewing on a bigger scale. Like, I was just a home brew, and then I learned how to brew on a test batch systems there, and then I actually got to get my hands, you know, wet, like actually brewing on the bigger system, which that one's kind of, it's nice because it's basically dump the grain and press the button, because you have to make, if you're shipping to 12 states, you got to make sure it's consistent as crap. So, and then I left there, and I was the director of beer for both Frisco tap houses. So I was the biggest beer buyer in Maryland for about a year. I had about 400 some beers between the 2 walk-ins, 160 on tap at all times. So learned a lot on that side of the industry. And I didn't want to be in the industry for long. Like, I did that just to learn that side of it, because I wanted to increase my knowledge of the beer industry. And then when they needed somebody to help brew and to build the sales and everything of this area, I jumped at it. So,
cool. And at Duclaw, is that where you met the current brewmaster?
Yep. Yeah, he was one of the brewers there. He's the one that actually sparked the sour program that's at Duclaw, and they just won a gold for their barrel aged sour. But like, that's all based on his sour me this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, which is why we do a lot of kettle sours. We do most of them on the test batch right now, and we can't keep them in stock.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever had one of your sours.
Yeah, we'll put them on tap like on a Friday, and we'll yield about 4 half kegs worth of beer. Put on tap on a Friday, and by Sunday it's gone.
Wow.
Every time. So we're gonna brew a bigger one. We actually did do a bigger one, and it was our sour cherry triple, which is one of our most popular beers. And we brewed it, and we used cherry puree that we always use, and it's aseptic, so it's already stuff that's boiled. And we usually put it in the boil, but this time we didn't. We just put it inside the 20 barrel, because we pulled off like 3 or 4 barrels, so we could ferment them with the different fruits just to try it out. Well, they forgot to boil the aseptic stuff, and the protein that was in it actually or the bacteria that was in it. It was
added to the.
Yeah, it was inside of it. It actually eats protein, so it felt and tasted like water. Even though it was like 9%, but we couldn't release that, so we actually put it inside of red wine barrels and reintroduced some other cool bacteria. So now it's sitting in red wine barrels for about a year.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, if it doesn't turn out. But instead of dumping it all, try it out and see what happens. We had the barrels, so yeah, we'll see.
A lot of good things can happen after sitting in a barrel for a while.
Yeah. So I mean, for us, we had it. We're like, it's a loss regardless. But if we can have something cool, then we can do it again in a much larger scale if it turns out. So we'll see.
So the look and the motif of the brewery is awesome.
Thank you.
There was definitely a lot of work put into how it looked. Mm-hmm. Whose idea or whose vision was that?
It was the 3 owners. They really wanted it to not be so cookie cutter, and I think
it's definitely not cookie
it's
cutter.
Not at all. No, they're like more of like a steampunk. Like, they're just a bunch of nerds. We make fun of them all the time about it. But they, the one guy Jeff, he wanted like all kinds of like a baby amputee foot's like hanging from the ceiling. We're like, Jeff. Had to smack a couple times. We're like, no.
That may have been just a step too far.
Yeah, like it was funny, because we were like, when people would actually stay and drink, not actually drink because you're scared.
Yeah.
So we kind of just got on them about it. But no, like, I think that they did a really good job with how it looks. And we hired this one company and they did all like the bar tops, the signage, and all the tables, and they just knocked it out of the park too. So I mean, we just got lucky with a lot of really cool people that wanted to be a part of it, and really helped them see their vision without being too scary.
Yeah, I mean, besides the beer being great, which we should
Talk about
the stout too, but
yeah.
People need to go just to check the place out.
Oh yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's and for us too, like we don't have any barrier. Like we just have a fence that goes around, but we wanted it to be completely open, so you could do a self-guided tour because you can walk all the way back to the back, and you can see everything. But we purposely didn't want to have anything at first, just the bar. But apparently, county regulations have to have some sort of barrier between the brew house for like insurance reasons. So we said, cool, we'll put a fence up, and we didn't want glass or anything, because we wanted people to walk in if we were brewing and actually see and smell what's actually happening there. And I mean, sometimes you're going to get wet because we're spraying down things. So I mean, it's a live brewery that you're drinking at. It just happens to have a cool tap room attached to it.
Yeah, and it's great how it's super easy to get to, and there's ample parking.
Yeah,
the two great things to have for a brewery.
It really is. And then also on top of that, we're right next to Lost Rock Distillery. And you can walk out and walk into their place and then get, some drinks and sample their stuff. And they just got the law changed. Before you couldn't do a beer, or you couldn't do cocktails at all. And they just got the law changed. Those guys fought like crazy. And as soon as they build out their bar, which they're working on now, you can actually go and get mixed drinks there.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and it's cool because they use some of our beers sometimes. They use Trash Panda with a whiskey sour, and they call it Pucker Panda. It's phenomenal. Like, it's so good. So, it's cool.
So, we'll talk about Trash Panda later because I love Trash Panda, but let's talk about the stout a little bit because this is probably one of the best just regular stouts I've ever had.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean it's just a basic stout, and you're right. It's a dry American stout. It's called Darkest Hour. It's 5.8%. The whole entire 5.6%. The whole entire point about this beer is when I was a beer bar at Frisco, I couldn't find basic stouts. Like everybody was making all kinds of flavored stouts, and there's a lot of really good flavored ones out there. But when you have 56 beers on one location, 104 beers on another, you have to have basic stuff. And I could get them out of state. I mean, Bell's makes a great stout, and other people do, but nobody local made a year-round one. I know Jailbreak makes Into the Darkness, has fantastic. Milkhouse makes a really good porter, but nobody just had an everyday stout that was
because all
drink.
the Monocacy has Brutus, but it's a coffee stout.
Yeah, it's delicious,
big coffee stout.
Exactly.
Almost all of them are
bigger
some sort of a big one, or it's a specialty stout.
Exactly. And so we sat down, and I was like, from my background, here's what we need, here's why we need it. And Jordan, our brewer, he's not on board with all the beers that I want to do, but he understands why I bring them. And then he does a fantastic job at actually taking what I'm saying, we need this style, and he just knocks them out of the park almost every time. Well, not almost. I mean, he's had some bad beers, but we drink them. No, I'm just kidding. He does really well. But this one, he brewed it, and I was like, dude, this is fantastic. This is like the base of all our stouts, and everybody loves our stouts, which is cool. So, I mean, this is like the base of it, and then with like Mother's Milk, and then a Morning After is our coffee milk stout. They're a little bit bigger. They're 7%. So there's a little bit more stuff added to it, but it's basically this guy, and then we just kind of add and subtract a couple things from it. But, yeah, I think this one turned out good. That's why I wanted to bring it. And it's perfect time for it, too. So
yeah. Although I'm a firm believer that there is no seasons to beers. You just drink whatever the heck you want whenever you want to.
Which is why we're actually on Wednesday releasing our Marzen. Everybody's already had theirs out and everything, and
they're all gone. Now I have yours.
We have ours now. Ours was going to be released. We planned on it about 3 weeks ago, so we still said we're going to release this thing late no matter what, because we want it around for Thanksgiving. We want it around for actual fall and not September when it's still hot out. But then our yeast order got jacked up like 4 times from White Labs, and that took an extra 3 weeks to get the stuff in. Yeah, we ordered it in like mid-September, and it didn't show up until mid to late October. So it kind of screwed up a lot of things. But, it's getting released a little bit later, but it's phenomenal, so whatever.
Yeah, people will get it.
Exactly.
And there will be no competition for them
exactly.
now.
And that's the thing, too. It's easy drinking fall lager. So, I mean, you can label it anything you want. You can label it an Oktoberfest. You can label it a Marzen, but it's the easy drinking fall lager. That's all it is. So,
how much brewing are you doing?
Just test batches right now.
Okay.
We have an existing brewer now, and it's just Jordan and Reese, and then I have some beers that we're going to be doing and brewing in like all the test batches I'll be doing with Jordan. But I mean, right now we've gotten to the point where I'm working 6 days a week, like literally Monday through Saturday. The only day I have off is Sunday.
I don't know why you're complaining then.
Yeah, I know, right? I got a 7-week-old son, and I am just running around like a nut to everywhere. Like we're distributing in the whole entire state. We started off just trying to get like a county here and there, but so many people are hitting us up constantly that I'm running around like crazy. On the way here, I must have got like 30 emails about getting beer, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm driving. So it's been crazy. So like most of my time is spent out and about, and then I also work at the tap room just because people like coming in and actually being able to talk to one of the brewers. So on Thursdays and Saturdays, I usually work, and we get pretty busy on Thursday nights and get to hang out with people. They all bring like really cool beers for us to try, and it's almost like a party type atmosphere on Thursday nights with me and my friend Frank. We work at the tap room.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I work a lot. Don't get to brew as much anymore.
So there've been a few stumbles with you guys opening.
Yep.
Some not caused by you. Well, I guess none of them were like necessarily caused by you,
Right,
but like
right.
some of the stories you were telling me before we started, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you want to
get
into some of that.
Sure. I might need a lot more beer.
Yeah.
But, no, it's one of those things that construction's huge, dude. Oh, thanks. Yeah. I love beer. Construction's one of those things that it's totally out of your hands. So we had everything set up, had a plumber lined up, paid my down payment. It was somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000, and in a brewery, the two things that you need are plumbing and electricity because those are kind of important.
Water definitely comes in handy.
Water is kind of a
in
key
and
thing.
out.
Yeah, exactly. And the plumber took $15,000 and never showed up ever. Couldn't get a hold of him. Found another guy. Put a down payment on that, another $15,000. He rolled, and then he also left the company that he started. So the guys who were with him came in and said, we had no idea. Like we saw the workers come in one day. We're like, hey, you guys working? They're like, no, we're here to tell you that he's gone. He took your money, and he didn't even pay us for the last 2 jobs that we did. And he was actually going around and said that he did stuff at Black Flag, and he did stuff at what's it called? At some other places, and he never actually did it. Our downfall was we didn't actually vet the guy. We just believed him because he knew what he was talking about. He came in, he was like, oh, this, and he knew everything. So we were like, oh, this guy must know it. It didn't work. So we had to find another plumber. Finally got everything up and running as far as getting us hot water or water even running. Then we decided to do a soft opening because everybody was saying, what's taking so long? And no one understands everything that happens behind the brewery. They just say, oh, you guys said you're going to open up 3 months ago. You guys suck. And we're like, oh, God, we really want to open up. So let's do a soft opening.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that one of the worst things a brewery can do is say publicly when they're going to open.
Yeah.
Because no one ever hits that mark even close to, like, within 2 to 4 months. It's usually...
It's and it's funny because there's some breweries that we've been talking to and reach out to us, some in and out of state, and they're like, yeah, we're planning on opening in like 6 months. And we're like,
no, you're not.
Yeah. and I look at it, I'm like, when did you get the place? We're like, oh, we just signed the lease this week. And I'm like, you're not open up in 6 months, buddy. If you do, that's awesome, and I want you to, but don't guarantee it. Don't let anybody know. I've been telling people, someone came in the brewery the other day, and they were like, what's your we're going to open a brewery. Like, what's your advice? I said, triple your budget and add a year into your opening date. And that's just being completely honest. We started off with like a budget of like $450,000, and we ended up spending $1.5 million.
Jeez.
Because nobody showed up. And then we were spending money. We have employees. We have to pay them. And it got to the point where we were like, holy crap. Like, it's a good thing we had another company that the owners own, that we were able to help fund getting things up and ready. Because I don't think we would have been open at all if it wasn't for that. And it's something that we could have done. It was just people are dicks, and they don't care.
A lot of bad luck.
Yeah, a lot of bad luck, and people just don't care. They're like, oh, I got paid, so why would I come back in? So the July 2nd thing, we opened up, did a soft opening because people were asking for beer. So we said, cool. So we started brewing a couple weeks beforehand, 24 hours a day for 2 to 3 weeks, like literally 24 hours a day. I'd show up at 6 a.m., leave at 8, 9, 10 p.m. Head brewers show up 8 p.m. and brew till 7, 8 a.m. every single day. Fiance was pissed at me. His girlfriend was mad at him. It was tough. It was rough. We opened up, a completely full walk-in. We were like, we got this. This is going to be cool. We can be open, maybe every Saturday or something after this. Expected 1,500 people. 5,000 people showed. Drank almost all the beer. Tried to stay open just on Saturdays. No joke. Between 800 and 1,000 people showed up every single Saturday. And then we started noticing issues with the beer. And first of all, we couldn't sustain anything. Second of all, we were noticing issues with the beer because we were pushing our test batch way past the limit. It caught fire twice. And then we also started noticing that the heating elements inside were sparking, or they were getting cooked. I don't know what it was. All I know is that it started scorching the beer, and it took about 2 weeks for any flavor to even come out at all. I remember sitting in the tap room and somebody was like, "Man, this wheat beer is cool, but it's got a smoky flavor. Is that something you're going for?" And I was just like, "Dear God, what are you talking about?" And I tried it, and I was like, "Man, there is something off." So we had a meeting the next day, and we were like, "Look, we can't do this anymore. We're dumping everything. Well, all the stuff we've been brewing. I mean, a 20-barrel batch was taking us about 65, 70 hours. A 20-barrel batch now in our 20-barrel system takes us 7 hours for the exact same amount of beer. It was taking us a full week and a half of like work time just to get one batch done. And we made the call and dumped everything.
Yeah, I think it was a Monday that you guys posted that you were going to shut down. Yep. You needed to figure out what was going on and fix it. Mm-hmm. And I read that post, and I instantly had so much respect for your brewery.
We appreciate it so much.
Because I had been there that weekend, and I was telling you, and like I had 4 beers, Trash Panda, which I liked.
Yeah.
And then
it wasn't brewed there, thank God.
And 3 that I couldn't drink.
Yep.
And like they were bad. Yeah. And I left. I'm like, I don't understand. Like they seem like they have.
Seem like they're doing really well. Yeah. Why?
As I was saying before, it's great that you guys recognized it and you fixed it, and you took that what had to be a really hard financial hit at that moment.
Yep.
Because I'm sure I'm not the only person who's had that experience and then saw your response to it of, we have a problem, we're going to fix it, we're sorry.
Right, exactly.
And like, so I would hope that there's a lot of, instead of being mad that they couldn't get your beer for a short amount of time, are happy and respect the fact that you guys want to put out good beer. Because it was at the Hops and Harvest Festival, I was like, all right, I got to try Hysteria again. I came up and I tried everything you had, and it was great. I'm like, good. I can.
Trash Panda. You had
Mad Sun.
Mad Sun. Yeah, Darkest Sour, and I think you had our coffee milk stout.
Yeah.
So, that's the stuff that we wanted to put out the whole entire time, and that's the stuff we were putting out. When we were doing our initial test batches.
Until you abused your pilot system.
We called that guy who invented it or like manufactures it, and he was like, I follow you on Facebook. And he's like, the system was meant to do, a handful of times a week. And we're like, yeah. And he's like, how many times are you brewing on it? And we're like, 7, 8 times a day?
Handful of times a day?
Yeah. And he was like, oh, my God. He's like, overnight, the new thing, our actual control box, like, literally caught fire. Like, flames, smoke. It was rough. So, but everything's cool now. Everything's up and running. The 20 barrel's up and running. So we can actually have fun again, which is what, like, 10-6 was. It's a fun beer. We wanted to showcase and that we can do, but we needed to get open. Like, you have to open the doors. Yeah. You have to make some kind of income, because when if you have a place that's not open and you have employees and you have overhead, all you're doing is spending money. You're completely you're not making anything. So instead of trying to put out, a 10-6 type or a Veil type beer or all those hype machines, you have to find something that you can start sustaining yourself with and selling to outside accounts, and what's really going to make you a legitimate brewery in business, and that's solid core beers.
Yeah. And well, speaking of income, let's take a moment to thank Roasthouse Pub for helping make the Uncapped podcast possible. They have a couple great events coming up. One this weekend at Old Mother's 2nd anniversary party, so everyone should go participate in the Bicycle Escapes Cranksgiving, and then head over to the Frederick Fairgrounds for Old Mother's 2nd birthday party, because Roasthouse Pub will have their food truck there serving up Chef Nico's amazing creations. Then on November 13th, Smoketown Brewing Station's having a tap takeover with barbecue and bluegrass. And then on November 15th, there's a Trogs tap takeover featuring Mad Elf Grand Cru, which apparently people are very excited about, and it's in very short supply.
I'm gonna try that.
And they're also going to have Scratch Series number 293, a double IPA with mango, which I'm super excited about because one of the best beers I've ever had was at Trogs, and it was a triple mango IPA.
Really?
It was a collaboration between them and Pizza Boy.
Oh.
And it was like painfully bitter, but in the best way possible.
Really?
And it was just so delicious.
I'm gonna try this beer.
So I cannot wait to go to Roasthouse Pub and try that.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds awesome.
So thank you, Roasthouse Pub, for your support of the Uncapped podcast.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
So now you guys are reopened.
Yeah.
You're making the beer that I was hoping that you're going to make.
Us too. Yeah.
I kept reading all this stuff online about Hysteria. I was like, all right, I got to try that. And I was like, no, it's not what people are saying.
What are they doing? Yeah.
But then I was very happy that, like I said, at the Hops and Harvest Fest, I loved Mad Sun. That was great.
Yeah, that's our... The reason why we even started making that one is we thought the Trash Pan was going to be like our core IPA. We're going to put in 6-packs and sell. But we just, after doing test batches and trying it, a month later or 2 months later, it wasn't the same as it was when it was fresh. And great, it's a super dry hop IPA.
Yeah.
We all get that. And then after 3 months, it was still good, but it wasn't anything that was like the really like bright and citrus burst like we all love. And so we made the decision right there. I was like, we're not selling this. This is not going to be our core IPA. This is going to be more of like our like double duck pen. Like we'll brew it when we brew it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna always be on tap. If it sells out, it sells out. We can fit in the schedule. We'll do it. So told our brewer Jordan, I was like, we just need to find like a more of a shelf stable IPA because there's nothing worse than going to a store and after a 6-pack being on the shelf for a month, picking it up and it's horrible.
Yeah.
Or what if it gets caught, for 2 months it's been going on the shelf and somebody tries it 2.5 months later and they say your beer sucks even though it was never meant to be sat for that long.
Yeah, because people don't look at a date on there before they start bad-mouthing it.
Exactly. And there was somebody on Untapped, I forget what it was, but they said this beer is horrible and they gave it a 1 star and they even said, I know it's way past the code date, but it's still horrible. It was like 8 months past the code date and it was an IPA. And I'm like, how is that fair to the brewery?
Yeah.
So that's what we were like, okay, let's start doing test batches and make, a shelf-stable IPA, and that's what Mad Sun is. So.
I like the story I read about why Jordan named it Trash Panther.
Yeah. He really wanted to do it at Duclaw, and they were like, we're not naming a beer Trash. And like, I'm like, I think it's a good idea. But my boss is like, come on. And I understood where they were coming from.
Yeah, but when I saw that, I didn't even remotely think of like associating the beer with trash. Like I just thought like that's hilarious.
Yeah, and that's what we thought too. We were actually saying we want to do a whole entire series of like Trash Panda and like Nope Rope and have a snake on it and do like, and it was going to be a whole series of sours is what we wanted to do, and they said no, and like we didn't really mean to call it a Trash Panda when we first started brewing this beer. It was just like an inside joke at the brewery, but we had a lot of open houses for people to come out and just try the beer out if they wanted to, and like what's it called? And we were like, oh, Trash Panda. We didn't know it was going to be as popular as it was. We just thought it was, here's an IPA we're testing out. It's one of my home brews I've had for years. So nobody knew everybody's going to like it that much. I'm brewing it at home for a while. Like, that's all I thought it was. And then everybody started checking into it and making up their own Trash Panda thing. But then it started getting like a really cool little following. We were like, I guess it's called Trash Panda.
Yeah, I guess the people have spoken.
Yeah, we're going to call it that now. So that's where the name
I think
came
you should have a whole line.
I really think so too. Like, I think it's just funny, just like complete one-offs. And like Nope Rope and like Swamp Donkey and all kinds of stupid.
Yeah, for anyone who like listening has no idea what we're talking about, it was originally on Reddit.
It was
right?
on Reddit, yeah.
And it was like the title was if animals are named by what they looked like or something like that.
Exactly.
And a Nope Rope is a snake.
Mm-hmm. Trash Pandas, a raccoon, and then there's different ones, and we like literally like had them all written out, and we were just laughing and just thought it was so funny, but we never really meant to name this beer Trash Panda. Like, we really didn't. Yeah. But
I don't believe you.
Yeah, what, it worked. So what, it was a genius marketing ploy, but yeah, it was by accident, just for fun.
So do you guys plan on packaging?
Yeah, I'm looking at a canning line. They're just so expensive. I mean, technically, when we open up for
it's another
for 2
few
months,
$100,000.
Just just a little bit. So we're looking at doing some McCann drops coming out soon. We'll get with a mobile canning line. We've been pricing them out. The thing for like packaging for like regular stuff, like our 3 core beers are Mad Sun, Morning After, and which is our coffee milk stout, and then our Yellow Submarine, which is our American wheat, used to be a Hefeweizen, and now it's changed. We're gonna package those, but like I'm not gonna do 6-pack of 12 ounces. We're gonna do 6-pack 16 ounces for like $12 or something like that.
Okay. Nice.
I mean, for me, like if I'm going to get something, I want it to fill up my glass, and all I have is pint glasses at home. let's just get to the point. We're trying to fill up everything, so let's just package in 16 ounce 6-packs.
I was just somewhere recently where someone was complaining that no one does 6-packs of 16-ounce beers.
So I mean, to me, like I think it's great because you have a Heavy Seas Pounder Pills does it, and I think it's awesome. And you have the other local brewery that Peabody Heights has their lager,
okay,
or their pills in a 6-pack 16 ounces. That one's like $8.99 for that. And that's the best. That's the best deal ever. But I mean, why not? Like we're all drinking out of 16-ounce pint glasses at home. Why? I just don't get why you short the glass.
Yeah.
You know, like why not? So,
so then you do plan on doing like the typical 4-pack can releases of your more specialty beers?
Yeah, like we're gonna have a ton of beers, just like 10-6. I mean, we haven't really announced anything yet, but like the next type of version, like 10-6, that's just insanely dry hopped. We're working on one for a Veterans Day. It's called Zero Dank 30, and
nice.
Why not? And it's American IPA with orange peel and then just stupid dry hopped, and it's only gonna be a test batch, and we're just gonna. But at the same time, it's gonna be sold on Veterans Day, and all the money that we make that day is getting donated to veterans.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because one of the guys, it's one of the owners, is a veteran himself from Afghanistan, so we want to hook them up, and so we figured it's a great way to have people try out a new IPA, and also for a good cause. So yeah, it's only going to be like a couple sixels, and that's it.
So let's talk about this
Scotch.
Unlabeled can you brought, which in our experience in the past year, that some of the best beers come in unlabeled cans.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, this one, it's our Scotch ale with maple syrup. We have a crap ton of maple syrup in there. We don't have a name for it yet. That's actually at the meeting that's going to be happening today. That
you're skipping?
Yeah, I'm skipping to come here and drink with you. But yeah, we're going to figure out the name for this. But it's around 8%. The final gravity, we didn't take yet, but we were shooting for about 8 to 9%, so we think it's in between there. A little bit of smokiness, nice and sweet from the maple. It's easy drinking.
The first sip of it, I didn't think I was gonna like it because the smokiness seemed much more pronounced. But like right at the second one, I was like, no, it's not there. It was almost it was just a tiny little bit to just accentuate the rest of the taste. Is really good.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it's cool, like for a really cool, like a fall, like bonfire beer.
What do you think, Graham? You love Scotch ales, don't you?
I do.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I just like the way it turned out great. And it's one of the things we did a test batch on it. People seem to, genuinely enjoy it. So we're like, okay, we'll do it as a fall seasonal. So
want some more?
Yeah, I want some beer. I love beer. I think I said it like 20 times today. Yeah, but Wednesday, we're doing this. We released our Marzen, which doesn't have a name yet either, and our red rye, which is Imperial Amber with rye. That's like 8.2%. That one's good. I love that beer. I'm excited about that.
Nice.
One. Yeah.
Why didn't you bring that one?
Because it was still I went to pull it out of the bright tank because this came out of the bright tank, and I went to pull it out of the bright tank this morning, but it's still under an incredible amount of pressure because they're trying to carb it real.
Yeah.
It's been carbing over the weekend, but it came out so foamy. But I actually did try to do it, and I was like, it's just not worth it. So, kind of stop by, I guess.
And you said that was Jordan's interview beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guy Rich, one of the owners, and Jeff, like they hate rye beers and they hate ambers. So Jordan said, "Cool, I'm gonna make Imperial Red Rye." So and he did, and they love it, and they were like, "Oh my god!" So we were like, "All right, it's a cool like cool beer, like cool as an awesome, and then cool as an actual like a time frame wise.
I feel like the name should have something to do with pissing off your boss.
We should. There's a lot of things that piss our bosses off. So
some sort of maybe an Office Space reference
that'd be
or
great.
something.
Just call it fax machine or something like that. That'd be fun. And that's
PC load letter.
Yeah, exactly. And today, like they're coming up with the name of the Marzen today, the Scotch Ale, and the Red Rye today. We have different things. Like we have a group chat with like all the employees and even some of the bartenders, and we're like, okay, let's just think. Here's the beer. Here's what it tastes like. Think of a name. We try to stick with what our name is, but sometimes things like Trash Panda slip through. So you never know. I mean, for me, like I like the name for like our Marzen. There's one that Frank, one of our bartenders, threw out. It was Hoodie Weather, and I thought that was awesome because it makes sense. But I don't know if it fits our motif, but whatever. It's still a cool name. So,
that's the probably I guess one of the like a great thing about it, and then also a negative having such a strong motif. Mm-hmm. Like if you have, it probably leads to easily naming a lot of beers.
Sometimes.
But then like you have a name you really want to use, and like, well, that just does not fit at all.
Not at all. But it's like, but I want it so bad. So like what we've said is that we're gonna try to stick on the motif for like seasonals and beers we brew all the time. But total one-offs, like like 10-6 and stuff like that, is just it's
although
game on.
That still fits.
And all and the name of that one.
Yeah.
Did you hear where the name came from?
I read an article where it references the
Mad Hatter.
The Mad Hatters.
It does fit. But like Zero Dank 30 doesn't make any sense to what we're doing.
Well,
at
that's true, but it makes sense for the occasion.
Exactly. So, learning process.
So, what was your official opening day? Like, what do you consider when Hysteria opened?
It was Labor Day weekend.
Okay, that's
our official opening day.
So when you have your 1-year anniversary, it'll be that weekend.
Yeah, which is fine because everybody's off and they can come drink a lot. So we're totally fine with that. So, 1 year then, and we have some barrel aged stuff that we're working on right now that we're not going to release until next year. The Scotch ales in barrels. That's going to be ready for another year, but that's going to be in there. We have some sours that are in barrels that we released. Our the barrel aged grandmother's milk. We caked off a little bit of them, and then the rest are for our founders members. Which somebody asked me about that the other day on Maryland Beer Drinkers Club. It's almost ready, but we're going to keg a couple of those off, and then set them aside. And then each year we're going to release a sixtel of that. So we'll have this year's, and then we'll have last year's version, and then the second year it'd be 2-year-old version, and then third year 3. And I'm trying to get them up to about 5 years. So on the 5th year anniversary, we'll have a 5-year-old barrel aged beer sitting back there.
What's founders members? So it's like do you have a beer club?
Yeah, it's before we opened up. It was the thing where you could just get like a card basically, and it came with other perks. You got a shirt, you got a hat, you got koozie, glassware, all that stuff. But also it gets you $1 off every single beer. And then it also gets you $1 off on top of happy hour, so you actually get another $2. You get $2 off every happy hour, and you also get a barrel aged beer that we're just waiting on just for it to finish up. We're going to bottle that off and then bottle condition it, and then they get that, and it's going to be before it goes for sale, and that's included in that. And then there's another package where you actually got one of those Growler Works growlers, the one that has a CO2 and a little tap on it. You actually got that.
Actually, I think I do remember seeing that now.
Yeah.
But you did it just through. It wasn't like a Kickstarter or anything. You just did it through your own website.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, we had I think it was like 50 of the growler ones, and then 150 of the regular ones, and we sold out of all of them plus some.
Yeah, so. I think when I finally saw it, it was already all sold out.
Yeah, and it's cool because we get all these people in that they're and one of the things too is they get to do a brew day, the one that it actually got like the bigger package, and so they get to come in and then pitch ideas to us, and then we're going to end up brewing one of their beers, and
that's cool.
Then put it on tap and then sell it out in the market too. So, be fun.
And that was just a one-time thing. If you didn't get to join, you're just out of luck.
Yeah, well, as far as all that, but like the thing that they have is called the Copper Club that comes with it, and that's the one with the additional perks as far as like pricing. That's going to be every year.
Okay.
We could open it up, and
so it's like a mug club type of thing.
Yeah. You get like this copper card that is pretty cool, and then Yeah, you get $1 off that. You get 10% off merch, and you get $1 off Crowler or stuff like that.
Nice.
Each time you come in with it. So there's no limit to it. You can do it every day if you want to. But
Like a loyalty card,
yeah,
kind of.
basically. Yeah, but why not? Something cool.
Yeah, no,
So,
I like when breweries do have
Yeah.
their little, not like that sounds dismissive, when they have like clubs and
Yeah.
like because it's a way for that brewery's biggest fans to kind of have a small piece of being a part of
Yeah.
that brewery.
Yeah, which is why it's
and
called the
build-
Founders Club.
Yeah.
Like you came in when the brewery was being formed, so you helped us actually found this brewery. So that's what we call it, the Founders Club. So it's cool, just something different. But you also get a perk from it too, so it's nice.
So have you found, has the demand just stayed as high as it was when you first opened and
It's
continued
more
to
now.
grow?
Yeah, like the tap room. That's the thing. Like the tap room was the most insane thing for a long time. I mean, we're not getting 2,000 people every single weekend now, but we still relatively do extremely well on the weekends. We also opened up during as far as like bars are concerned, the slowest time ever. When I was at Frisco, like it was a skeleton crew throughout September through October, November, just because it's just a dead time of year. Everybody's going back to school, they get back from vacations. The parents spend all their money. They're not going to go out and drink. But now it's starting to pick back up, but sales outside are getting kind of out of hand, which is out of hand in a good way. But when it's just me and our one guy who delivers, it's and we do the whole state, it kind of gets really really busy and a tad bit hairy and stressful at sometimes. So
It's a good problem to have, though.
yeah, it's a very
better
good problem.
than no one wanting your beer.
That's yeah.
The alternative is not good.
It's one of those. I mean, like Trash Pan, it's insane, man. Like we'll brew 20 barrels of it, and between us selling outside accounts and inside accounts, we're going through 20 barrels a month of just one beer.
Nice.
And then that's not even the best selling beer in our tap room. Our actual best selling beer in the tap room is our American Wheat. We can't keep up with that one.
Wow.
And that's just in the tap room. So it's been fun.
So every year, well, I don't know how many years they've been doing it now. Max's has a big wheel race.
Yep, we
like
did
the,
it.
The not like a high wheel race like Frederick has, but like a kids big wheel race. You guys stirred up a little controversy at this year's.
Well, let me just say, we didn't cheat. We did exactly what the rules said.
Yeah,
we won.
You did follow the rules to a T.
Listen, the rules said
they just did not anticipate anyone
doing it.
attaching an electric
wheel
to it.
Yeah, the rules. I was looking at the rules, and that's the thing. Like they had invited us out like 2 months prior, and then Casey's an extremely busy man, and he hit me up and he was like, "Are you guys interested?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Send me your email so I can send you all the details." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I sent him my email, and because he just had my phone number. And I sent him my email, and then I didn't hear anything from him. Well, a week and a half before the event, he emails me. He's like, "Sorry about that, man." He's like, "I've just been busy. If you're still down, here's all the rules." We didn't have anything. We didn't have a bike. We had nothing, and that was on a Friday or Thursday, and the race was on the following Thursday. So Rich has a couple kids that are all a little bit older than that can fit on there, and he's like, "I have one of those big wheels." I was like, all right, let's just do something with it. And they sent us the rules, and they said the only things you can change are the front tire and the pedals. That's it. Everything else has to be plastic frame. You can't do anything else. And we're like, okay, so just wheels and pedals. So we're looking at the thing, and getting back to what Rich said, that he's like an engineer at heart and tinkers with things. He just happened to have a crazy battery-powered bike that he had built. It's like this metal frame bike that he built. Well, the motor itself was the tire. And he walked over to it, put it up to it, and it fit perfect on this kid's thing. And he was like, and he sent me a picture. He was like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "No, we're not doing that." And then Jordan chimed in, and Jordan's like, "The rules don't say it has to be human powered. It just says you can only change this and that." So we were like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just have fun, make a statement. It's our first like big thing in Baltimore. We get kicked out, but at least we can have fun with it. Like, let's just do it. Casey saw it, and he was like, you didn't break the rules. You changed just this. And we were like, yeah, like we knew it was within the rules. We also knew it was stretching it. I mean, so we won by so much. It was totally unfair. Like how much we won by. But like we didn't mean
you watch the video and everyone's trying so hard,
and she's just like
crazy. And she just has her feet up in the air and flying past everyone.
And that's the thing. Like your feet had to remain on the pedals, which is why we took them off of the wheel and we just attached the pedals to the top, so her feet were still on them. Her butt was in the seat. I mean, we honestly did it as like just a joke, just to have fun. But then some people actually got upset at us, and we were like, guys, if it was illegal and they kicked us out, would have been like, okay, cool, we're here, we're just having fun drinking with you guys anyway. But I mean, yeah, it was funny.
But they announced both of you as winners, right?
It was us and Antiem.
The pedal-powered winners.
Yeah. And if they change the rules next year, that's fine.
I guarantee there's probably going to be...
Human-powered is going to be in there, and that's fine with us. We don't care. It was a joke anyway. But
yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
I guess I'm sure when they were working out like the rules they had to put in, no one for a second thought was like, man, we really need to address someone putting electric motor on a tire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hub motor. Like, who would have thought that anyone would have had it? And I didn't know he had it. He would send me a picture, and I was like, no effing way, dude. He's like, I just have it sit. It was at the brewery, too. I was like, you just have it sitting there? And he was like, yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't surprise me at all. But, yeah, it was hilarious. No.
So what's your favorite Hysteria beer that you guys produce?
Right now, probably Darkest Hour. I think this time of year it's just a perfect drinking beer. I mean, I love 10-6, don't get me wrong, which we can crack it open. You have to drink it all. But it's I think 10-6 is cool because it actually hits like all the notes or all the cravings of the hops that I want. It's almost like drinking a Veil beer without driving to Richmond. And I'm not saying that we're anything close to Veil, but it's that type of beer. Like there's not a lot of head on it because of the hop oils. And that's one thing we notice at the Veil. Every time we go there, those guys are pouring. Like it's here and they're pouring down here and there's no head. And it's still carbonated. It's because there's so many hop oils in there.
Chicken in it.
Yeah, and the chicken, the fried chicken, stuff like that. The fried chicken, the fried chicken. But they make really cool beers, and we were like, well, we can do this. We just haven't had a chance to because we're always playing catch up. And so my favorite beer right now is probably 10-6, but normally Darkest Hour.
What's your favorite Maryland beer not made by Hysteria?
My favorite Maryland beer not made by Hysteria? I would have to say probably Sorry Chicky.
That's a good beer.
I could drink that beer all day. The only downside is it's so expensive. I still buy it, but I'm like, man, why is it so much? But yeah, I could drink that beer all the time. I mean, I've been in the Barrel Oak train before they even got all the hype that they're getting, and I mean, they're doing a great job. So like, great for them. But I remember going out there and just chatting with Brian, and he was making awesome beer when he first started, and now they're all
the way out there in the middle of nowhere.
That's the problem.
It took a little bit for the word to get out.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3 hours away, so it's tough to get all the way out there. But now. You have RER on the way, so you can hit them up, do a cool can release, and go out there and get Barley Oak, and then go to Ocean City. I mean, I think it's pretty cool what they have going on there. I mean, they're two of my favorite breweries out there.
What's the worst review you guys have received?
We get all kinds of dumb reviews, and I have to stop looking at Untapped sometimes. So
because they're funny.
I know.
Well, although it probably from you you probably get really mad first, and then it's funny.
I used to get so like not mad, but my feelings hurt, like just butt hurt on it, because we spent so much time brewing this stuff, and then somebody's like meh, and then and I'm like, well, what's meh? Like, explain it to me. Or when people are
this
like,
beer's awful. It tastes like Thai made it.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Every Hysteria beer I check into from now on.
You can definitely say that.
Thai definitely made
and
this
I was like,
one.
yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's my bad. But like last night, I was looking at reviews, and like Mad Sun, it got a 0.25. No explanation, just a 0.25. And I'm like, why? I don't understand. Like, tell me why it's 0.25. Or you have people that are like, I hate IPAs, but this is not bad. 1 star. And I'm like, then don't check in. If you don't like a style, but you don't mind this one, shouldn't they get a better review than a 1? So stuff like that, we don't. Like that's.
So you even had any creative ones though, like where someone was just.
We had somebody say something about, I forget what it was. It was like dipping sweaty balls into something and then wringing it out with Band-Aids. I forget what beer it was. I have no. I remember reading it and being like, all right. It deserves that because you know what, he's so creative.
At least they put some thought into it.
I was like, all right, that's fine with me. If you can actually make it worthwhile, not just being like meh. I'm like, all right, what's meh about it?
We've brought it up a few times, but my reigning favorite bad review is Old Mother's, where right after they open the review started with, "Have you ever been someplace you just know isn't going to be around in a year?"
Oh my god!
And then it just went on to tear apart everything about the place.
That sucks.
They find it hilarious, especially now that they're moving into a much larger facility.
Yeah,
and
it is
run out
hilarious.
of beer regularly.
Yeah, and for us, like, I guess for me, like, I just get like butthurt about it sometimes. I know I shouldn't.
But
I
it's your
know.
baby.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we put so much time and effort in this, and then we had people say, "Man," and give it 0.25 stars. That like takes a beer that we're trying to get, like, you know, like Mad Sun. We're like, people like this beer. It's cool. It's going to be around, and then they give it 0.25 stars, and then, but when you have like one or two people who are just like pissy that do it. Oh, like somebody the other night, they were in our tap room, and they had checked in and said, "This beer is great, but minus half a star because the music videos suck." Because we were playing a '90s pop music videos, and I'm like, "What the? Why are you even gonna? That has nothing to do with the beer." Like, and 90s pop is on there is because we rotate through like 90s pop or like 90s grunge, and we try to have like a 90s 2000s vibe on there. That night just was 90s pop, and apparently that person didn't like it at all.
Well, I'm gonna review that stout. I'm gonna knock it down a couple points because it's kind of warm in this room right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Whatever, guys are dicks.
There was but I definitely see where you're coming from, because it's probably right along the lines of like if you're standing there holding your 7-week-old and someone walks up and is like, "Man, that kid's ugly."
Yeah, I'd be like,
it's like
I worked hard for that.
That's actually what I think was it when we were in Ocean City, someone walked up to Beth and made like a real offhand comment about. She was holding her daughter, and this old woman looked over and made a snide comment about how, it was.
Why?
I found it hilarious, but my wife was just livid.
Oh yeah, that's how Kate, my fiance. If anybody said anything about our son, I'm pretty sure that she would instantly turn into like Wolverine, and like claws would come out. I'm
surprised that didn't happen.
Yeah, she would kill somebody. I'd be holding the baby right now because she would be in jail. Like it'd be crazy.
Well, I want to thank you so much for driving out here and bringing. I love that stout. It is so good.
Thanks. Yeah, like I said, it's my favorite beer right now. Like, I just love it.
And I love everything about Trash Panda.
Thank you.
I look forward to it making its way to Frederick again.
It should be ready in about. We're thinking 3 weeks. It's got them fermenting. We already tried it for the first time. We're doing the second time. Usually it's only 2 dry hops. We're adding 1 more to it this time because we just figured why not. So the next one might be. Yeah, I think next one's gonna
have some hops laying around. Just throw them in.
Pretty much. Yeah, we were just like, let's just try it, see what it tastes like. Maybe just be a little more vibrant. But I mean, it's not gonna change flavor at all. Just the nose is gonna hit you more. That's really what we really want to do.
Yeah. So. Do you guys have anything else coming up soon that you want to talk about? Let people know.
Just this Wednesday, we're doing the release of the Scotch Ale, the Red Rye, the Marzen, and then we're looking at doing some fun stuff on the day before Thanksgiving, because it's the biggest drinking day. So we're trying to figure something out. But
we're gonna do like a Friendsgiving type thing, like
your
neighbors are doing, or
probably end up doing something with Lost Ark because we always do something with them. But like, I want to do something with like Crowlers.
I need to get in touch with them. I want to have them on too.
They're awesome guys.
We're gonna start doing. We've done the Frederick distilleries, but we want to start doing all the rest of the Maryland ones.
Yeah, I mean those guys are so cool too. Like they're one of the best neighbors you could ever have because they hype up our stuff, we hype up theirs. We're gonna be getting barrels from them when they're done with their whiskeys. So we're just stoked to be next to somebody or just you guys that are just so cool. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, and the stuff is good. So
that helps a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, great. Well, where can people find you?
Can find me on Twitter. It's 2 different ways. You can get at Hysteria Brewery's me, but also the Hysteria Tie. And then Facebook, you can just add me. I don't care if you add me. It's funny because a lot of people are like, I don't want to add you, but like I like people being able to add me and ask me questions. Like hit me up, message me. I don't care.
But like what's the address of the brewery?
9570 Burger Road, and that's in Columbia, Maryland. 21046.
It's super easy to get to and a little difficult to find. Not super hard.
There's
but
a newer sign hanging up, but we're getting a big one to hang up soon.
That would completely eliminate it then.
That was like it was actually legal issues in in Howard County. You can't have permanent signage without getting all your necessary licensing.
Okay.
And since we were using other licensing to actually open up for a day or two, we weren't allowed to advertise the location.
Okay.
But now there's a sign on the side that actually says Lost Ark, Hysteria, like one of those big signs, and then we have a big sign that's hanging outside, and the one being built for the wall. So
cool. All right, never mind. It will be easy to find now.
Hopefully soon. It's being built. I mean,
Yeah.
it could take another 6 months for.
Oh, that's true. Never estimate the time.
Yeah, it's our luck. So who knows? So.
Once again, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yeah.
And cheers.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And hopefully the video worked the whole time. It did not, did it, Graham?
We have a green light, but no numbers, so it's anybody's guess.
Well, green lights are usually good, right?
We'll see.
I just make beer. That's all. So.